And what is up, guys? Technicals here, checking in on our little 3D print operation for today, this time with less seasickness and me holding the camera around. I'm a small business owner. I started getting into 3D printing, and I was like, you know, maybe I can make some money out of this. So I'm trying it at home. I'm learning about 3D printers. Maybe you can give me some tips, tricks, and suggestions along the way. This is just exhibition, not instructional. So follow along with me. I do giveaways every so often. It's generally a good time, and you can follow along in the process. So the B-roll that I play at the beginning of the video, I need to take some right now. So this is what I do. Very scientific stuff. Okay, so what am I working on today? Well, if you saw the videos, the past few videos, I was talking about splitting up my Etsy, going into functional prints, art prints, and spicy art prints. And so I'm trying, sort of looking at things through a little bit of a different lens, kind of looking at sort of trends a little bit more and how to incorporate trendy stuff into functional stuff that has like a proven track record on Etsy. So you can see here, if you're a gamer type person, you may recognize that as a Pal Ball. Pal World is a game that's similar to Pokemon. In the game you use like Pokeballs, but they call them Pal Spheres. So this is a Pal Sphere, but I've incorporated a phone stand into it. Very simple concept, very simple idea. I spent all of 10 seconds looking to see if there were already Pal Sphere phone stands on the internet, and I didn't see any. So figured I'd give it a shot. I just took two models and put them together, and that's what I'm printing here now. Now, will it work out? I don't know, but I'm just trying it. Wasn't that much filament, and there are a lot of people that play Pal World, and basically everybody has a phone. And so maybe some people want to signal how much they like Pal World by setting their phone on it. So this functional print, a little bit different. I'm going to be adding in sort of a post-production thing to it. I'm going to be putting a rubber base on the bottom, and that's to keep it steady when it's sitting on your desk. And that's one of the things what I've seen some criticism before for, like, for instance, headphone stands, like the heads that are headphone stands. I couldn't help but think that they aren't weighted, and that would maybe cause a problem, and also that they don't have any sort of bottom to them. So unless you're mounting them to a desk, to a wall, they're going to slide around. They're really lightweight, and so you put heavy headphones on it, they'll fall over or slide around, and it's just kind of like, you know, like it should be, have something to affix it in place, either weight or a friction-y bottom. So I'm going to be putting a rubber base on this to keep it stationary. Just a concept at this point. We're going to see how it works out. I've already preemptively ordered some nicer blue PLA, some silk PLA, and some gold silk PLA to really make it pop. Because if you look at example images, I'll put one here, of the Pal Ball, it's kind of got this shine, this sheen, this sparkliness to it. This is just a basic, this is actually matte yellow lemon bamboo filament, and then basic Elegoo blue PLA. So it's pretty, the contrast is there. I do like it, but I think it would look a little bit better in some nicer material. Up here on Cobra number 2, it's a D20 cube. It's an extremely a D20 cube. We sold the one and we did a reprint on it, and it didn't really work out. So I'm reprinting this one. It's kind of a new model, courtesy of Paul. Again, Paul coming clutch, saving my life again. He chamfered the numbers out for me. This one looks a lot better. It remains to be seen if it's going to work out. You know, I guess I could probably pop those supports off. Well, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait for it to finish printing. Maybe another, I think it's got a day left on it because I run it slow, but it's looking pretty good thus far. Down here on Cobra 4, we did another Moai head, but this time with some rainbow filament, and again with these lines. So because I shoot these videos like 2 or 3 days in advance, like I don't have anybody commenting. I have not seen anyone comment on yesterday's video when I did this Moai head in silk and commented about those lines. And I'm sure when the video comes out, people are going to say, oh, that's because of like a speed variation, you know, it's the travel time for the nozzle, it's not, you know, heating correctly. And indeed, like that's kind of what I sussed out. I was looking around on the internet like, what are these lines? How do I get rid of them? Because it came through on this, and this is not a silk PLA. So what I did is I went back into the slice and I made all the speeds static regardless of overhang. So I run this without supports. I'm a little funny about running it at one constant speed, not slowing down for overhangs, but I'm running it at 80 millimeters, which isn't too fast. I might nudge that down to like 60 just to make sure it comes out, because the overhangs on this came out, there's no issues whatsoever. But I want a uniform appearance. So I'm going to run another one of these, probably in this same rainbow, just at a constant speed all the way through, regardless of overhang or anything like that, to see if I can get a more uniform finish versus this like where it was hot here versus like not hot here, hot or not. All right, and away we go. The car part is finished. If you've been following the process, this is the second like full attempt I've done on this car part, because the first one came out, it left a little bit to be desired. This one I ran without any supports whatsoever, and there were some overhangs where I was watching it and thinking, uh-oh, you're gonna have some problems here. But I haven't touched this. I do it fresh, I do it live for your benefits. You can really see what it's like. No funny business here until there is. So let's take this off the plate. Again, this is PET G, is Elegoo Rapid PET G, run at 255 with a 0.7 height. Let's get in here. Typically, I mean, so far these PET G prints have really stuck to the plate. And it's just, I kind of make peace with the fact that I'm going to have to reset the plates after the print. Still haven't ordered that Tronxy 800, which I think I might actually do, just to make this process a little bit easier. Just that brim's really on there. So let's take this bad boy and its compatriot in the office and take a look a little closer. All right, and so here's the one from yesterday. It's the first reprint that we did, all with the Elegoo Rapid PET G. Again, like I was remarking, there's some like, just the slightest amount of like, seems like surface bubbling. It's fine. I mean, I'm looking for issues out of this. I don't see any. It's stringy because I ran it hot. But that was really kind of like, just to make sure, like peace of mind for layer adhesion, because you know, more hot equal more ooey gooey. So this one looks good. This is like the top or the front, I guess, you know, you're this direction, it's driver's side. So that goes towards the front of the vehicle, like so. And this back section, I haven't looked it over yet, I promise. So again, up here, whew, it looks okay. Because I was like, I haven't really looked at this. I've been like waiting to look at it, like, please be good, please be good, please be good. And I look at it and it's okay. So the overhangs, when I was watching it, usually when it would generate, I'd put some normal supports and they would go down here and go up to meet these spots. And I think the customer, when he split this, I think maybe he added these triangles to avoid needing to use supports where they come up. But again, I guess the overhang or the layer height was just a bit too aggressive for it to like fully do the overhang, maybe cooling issue. But overall it came out okay. So on the apex of these supports, a little, I don't know what the term is. It's like kind of like where it comes out and it doesn't have anything to grab onto, and it makes like a little loop of spaghetti. But that, like nothing serious. I mean, it's going to be very difficult to focus in on this because it's all black. Maybe you can see what I'm talking about, maybe not. See right there. So like kind of a little spaghetti-ish here, but it was sufficient to make a nice clean surface, because this is where it mates up with the other part. The edges, which was a previous issue, look just fine, crispy clean. You know, this is the section that goes around the wheel well. Looking fine, looking great. The interior looks fine. I did paint the seam on it. I forget where I painted the seam. I don't even see it. It might have, I didn't use the edge. It might have, I have no idea. I mean, I'm not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth. This is great. The surface finish on the bottom here, like the top surface finish, looks pretty uniform, maybe a tiny bit over extruded, but overall, you know, this is a winner. And so very happy to do this. Again, when I was looking into car parts, it doesn't seem like there's an overabundance of opportunity for like regular cars, like a Nissan Altima or, you know, whatever. How's it go? Oh, it goes like this. So it mates up just like, can you see it? Mates up just like that. So what kind of car is this, dude? Like that's the wheel well. Huh, maybe it is for an exotic car. As someone who has owned multiple exotic cars, that's right, I was a Lamborghini owner. Yeah, that's like a long fender. That seems like for a sports car or a race car or something that long. I don't think there's a lot of opportunity for me putting it out there. Maybe, you know, maybe there are cars out there, like older model cars. Like if it's hard to get parts for, you know, some 70s or 80s model muscle car or whatever. But I feel like if there's that much of an aftermarket of tuners and people who are fixing up those types of cars, then some other company that like presses these, you know, or makes them out of carbon or fiberglass, purpose-driven probably already exists. So he was telling me this is for a custom project of his, so that makes sense that he would want it 3D printed. But I was very grateful for him reaching out and kind of providing and offering this, because this was great content. This is great learning through the process for something like the Giga, a functional print for the Giga versus an art print. Because I get the Giga and it's like, you know, well, what can you really print? Basically art prints. And I know people print tables and stools and stuff like that, but even at 100% infill, I'm not sitting on a 3D printed stool. Well, let's say I'd sit on one, but I'd much prefer something made out of steel or wood, or a proven material, something that wasn't liquid at one point. So it was very great. It was great of them to reach out and ask me to do this. Thank you again. Gonna get that boxed up and shipped off. Again, nearest I can figure, 50, 60 bucks to ship it. He paid me $200 for it. In total filament costs, I think with like the initial round, these failure parts, you know, I'm looking at like, let's say 3 spools. So let's say 3 times the Rapid Pet G's, what, 13 bucks or something like that. So 26, 36, 39, 40 bucks. Let's say 40 bucks on that. So there's like a $50, $60 rip in there, and that covered my time. It covered, you know, any incidentals, taxes, dumb shit like that. So it's not a loser, you know, but again, I'm just not sure there's a lot of opportunity there, but hey, maybe it's another feather in the cap. And a sort of a final update for today. Here's our dark digital pinup girl, gamer girl. We got her all glued together. She's sitting on her little teddy bear. We kind of sort of briefly assembled this yesterday. Got it all glued up, have these ×4. Woo, what's that? And was kind of going over the process of, you know, like who this is for. It's a little less graphic than some of those other prints. And so I did split my Etsy. I've got 3 Etsys now. I need to migrate the basic safe art prints over to the new Etsy there. But I did end up migrating all these spicy adult NSFW 18 plus type of prints over to the new one. I'm not gonna link that one on the YouTube. I'm gonna link my art and my functional print channel. But again, just for people who don't wanna be around, I'm still gonna show this stuff. Just fair warning, I will continue to show these things, but I'm not gonna link it just in case for whatever reason. So that is, you know, quarantined. It's segregated off from the rest of the stuff. I've got all those listed over there. Just gonna have to start monitoring the traffic there, maybe do some ads if that's even possible, because those character models do get a lot of play. They do get a lot of traffic. And so I expect traffic to fall on my main Etsy, but maybe that's a good thing that, you know, people aren't here looking for these things, and then Etsy sees the traffic and they serve that, you know, to relevant people, and I'm just not getting as many relevant customers coming into my main Etsy or my safe for work Etsy. Just a theory, not sure if that's how it is. I signed up for Everbee as well. I'm currently evaluating the platform. I might just pull the trigger and do their like $20 a month thing. It's not a lot for, you know, the analytics. A lot of people, a lot of opinions on Everbee, whether it's worth it or not. But I think in this formative stage, hey, try it out. And then if it's not really relevant to you or doesn't work, then just ditch it and get rid of it. It's not overall not that much. In the sense of a business startup, a side hustle startup, it's not that much. You know, and again, I don't want to speak from this place of like, you know, in my ivory tower where money doesn't matter to me. But in terms of like actually starting a process that generates money, you got to spend money to make money. And, you know, people won't even bat their eye at certain expenses, which I think are kind of like insane. Stuff like this overall, 20 bucks a month, it's not that much. So I'm going to try that out, see what fruit comes of it, if anything. And if it does, I'll certainly be sure to mention it here. That's my rip on the 3D print operation for today. Love to know what you're printing, what you're doing, so I can copy those ideas and profit from them. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you think about everything I got going on here. Was splitting up my Etsy a great idea, or was it just a good idea? Let me know what your opinion is in the comments below. Be sure to like the video because it's the nice thing to do, and subscribe for more content like this. I'm the Technicals. See you next time.